This is podcast number 2? Yeah.
3, because we had a special draft podcast.
That's right. Okay. That's right. Special edition. So we are on podcast number 3.
Yeah, not too bad. Two months before the season begins here, so as long as we'll finish our recaps here in a couple weeks, and then we can do our predictions for this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got some good stuff to talk about. So
maybe eventually have some guests on when we can be live.
Yeah,
you and I together, not me over the phone.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm gonna have to come up to San Fran, and we'll do a special San Francisco edition.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
You can do it like on the bay.
Out on the ocean?
While listening to Journey.
I like it. Or at a Giants game. We'll just talk about football at a Giants game in the bleachers.
Yeah, we'd probably be way more entertaining, so I like the Giants. Speaking of which, I actually did something for the first time I've ever done at a sporting event before. I went to a Giants game just for shits and giggles on a Thursday night when I was off work.
Uh-huh.
And I actually left my seat just to walk around the park in the middle of the game.
Okay.
And when I got done with it, I was like, did I really just do that? Because normally when I'm at a sporting event, like I'm locked in. But baseball, I kind of enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
I kind of liked it, So I don't know. I definitely wouldn't do that at a Warriors game.
I was guessing maybe you took your shirt off. That was my initial thought until you shared.
No, you know my move to get on the Jumbotron. It's not take my shirt off.
That was pretty funny. I think it Garvin who posted that video during the Warriors playoffs run, where he said it was you chucking up a 3-pointer.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
For a hot second, I really thought that you had. Can we do
just one podcast where we don't mention Game 7 of the Warriors, please?
Sorry, I mean that voicemail.
Can we just ban that for the rest of this year at least?
Yeah. Hey, but see, you got good news now, where you guys have Durant, and so I think it balances out.
No, it doesn't balance out, but yes, you're right. No, that is good.
It doesn't numb the pain just a little bit?
I don't think that dampens the sting.
Okay.
But it does make me look forward to the Warriors.
Yeah.
Next year and for years to come. Okay, let's dive into this thing, huh?
Yeah.
What are we doing? We're recapping?
Let's start with some league news. I know we had some stuff we voted on.
Oh, snap! That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. League fee. Hey, and two polls in a row where everyone voted. This is like this peak is at a health rating is like at an all-time health rating. I hope I didn't just jinx it.
Nope.
I mean, never participating in the little stuff, and I just feel like everyone loves each other.
I think so.
Except you and Brian,
Oh, I hate that.
But that's okay. That's just because you don't know him.
Hate that piece of shit.
Let's see here. What the hell? Oh, yeah. So league fee up from 85 to 100.
Yep.
If anyone does have a serious issue with that, just email me or text me or something.
Okay.
And we'll get it figured out. And then, let's see. Oh, yeah. I just have kind of like, I know I've been sending some emails out. I know not everyone checks their email box all the time.
Yeah.
Or even wants to get in on an email situation. Man, if my phone starts getting blown up with text message from that group text, I'm sorry.
That's all good.
If you guys can hear the tweet go off.
Yeah, I heard it buzz.
But, let's see. Oh, yeah. I'm going all out in fantasy football this year. Like, I'm trying to do, like, some high-stakes fantasy football with, like a group effort or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I realize it might be complicated for multiple people to be, like, owning a team, but, there's, like, I'm just saying, if anyone else is looking to do, like, some other stuff, like a Terminator League, which if you don't know what that is, that's kind of a cool concept. Not going to go into it here. But if anyone else is looking for more fantasy football, shoot me a text. I'll let you know what I'm looking at this year. There's some pretty fun stuff out there now that is still the same concept, but some different games that or use different strategies that seem like fun.
Yeah. Nice.
The DraftKings thing. We should do a weekly DraftKings with people in this league, even if it's just like a $5 one or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down to do that.
Yeah, anyone who hasn't done DraftKings is effing addicting. But very fun.
Yeah, and I think a few of the guys already do DraftKings and stuff, so probably really easy to set that up.
Yeah, for sure. And then, let's see if I put this on silent. That was off text messages. We'll see. I don't know, yeah. If you want to do DraftKings or something, let us know. Oh, yeah, I'm going to whoop everyone's ass in Survivor this year. And you know what's funny is I was looking at week 1.
Yeah.
And I kind of have an idea of who I'm going to pick. And then I was looking at week 2, and the team I want to pick is the Eagles. And I'll be damned if the Eagles haven't knocked me out early in, like, every season
the
so
last
far.
couple of years, yeah.
And I want to pick them again week 2. But we'll see. Week 1 will probably change my mind some way.
I don't know.
Those first couple weeks, man.
I think I've won like 2 or 3 years in a row now.
Have you?
I think so.
Yeah, you've won both years that we've actually contributed part of the prize money to it, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
You asshole.
It's got that neck.
You're going down this year. Oh my god, my phone is fucking blowing up. Okay. So let's see here. That's all the league news I have. There's not really a whole lot.
Right on. All right, well, welcome back to the podcast, and we're just going to jump right back into our last season recap. And so last podcast, we did the other AFC team. I think it's the West, AFC West. And this podcast, we're doing the AFC East. So we are recapping the AFC East, the mighty AFC East.
Yeah, with the Red Devils, the dropouts, your team, and last year's chaos, which is now this year's Wild Orchid with new ownership.
Probably.
Oh, I also found the do not disturb button for my group text, so hopefully my phone won't be getting that anymore.
Sounds good. All right, so let's just start off with the Belgium Red Devils. And so they finished 9-3 last year, so they won the division. And then they were beat handedly by Mexico City in Week 15 in the playoffs. So that's how they finished their season. And why don't you, let's see here, kick it off with...
Aren't you crazy? Didn't Drew's team make it to third?
Make it to third?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, you didn't beat Drew's team. Oh, yeah, you did.
I did.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get in the quarters. Okay.
Yeah, handedly.
No, in the semis. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any labels for, like, the actual, like, semi or, that sort of thing. So I just picked the week 15.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I'm just an idiot.
And so his top 3 players last season, he had Aaron Rodgers, Brandon Marshall, and Doug Martin. So that's pretty good quarterback, receiver, running back combo. That were his top 3 players on his team. And why don't you kick it off with biggest surprise? What was the biggest surprise for you?
Well, I would have said the biggest surprise was Doug Martin, but as you so strongly pointed out, I actually was very high on Doug Martin going into last year.
Yeah, you were. You did claim that in our predictions last year.
So ring one up for Jordan on the Doug Martin prediction. And then I also, but no, his MVP for me was Brandon Marshall.
Okay.
Or I forgot how we categorized it. Whatever. His the performing player was Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
I did not see Brandon Marshall on the Jets doing that. I mean, he put up 235 strong.
Yeah, he was the 3rd overall receiver, the 3rd ranked.
Yeah, very strong.
Yeah.
Did not think. I mean, I figured he'd be good in wide receiver 1 contention, but
yeah,
that I would not have guessed.
Yeah, that's a good pick. But I'd probably still go with Doug Martin because I wasn't really high on him. I love his nickname, the Iron Hamster, but I didn't think he would have the year he had, where he finished number 3 running back. That surprised me when I look back that he was the number 3 ranked running back last year.
Yeah, no, he had a great season. He almost got 200 points.
Yeah, just outside, missed by 0.7. So that was my biggest surprise, that he returned to fantasy relevance. The Iron Hamster is back.
Not only fantasy relevance, but fantasy borderline dominant.
Yeah, exactly. That was a big jump. And I'm curious what that would be like the biggest jump for improvement for a player, like most improved. That would be something interesting to look up.
Definitely most improved from a guy who was once relevant.
Yeah.
And then wasn't for whatever reason. But I still think maybe like Allen Robinson or a young guy who broke through is probably.
Yeah, like the biggest jump of fantasy points. That would be an interesting. We could probably make that up and copyright it.
Yeah, that's a pretty. Well, it doesn't have to be that big of a study, I guess. Yeah. What was your worst performance or?
Worst performance. It was pretty straightforward. Le'Veon Bell, which it's hard to kind of say that because he was injured, so obviously he can't do that well. But that was probably the worst. The worst part of his team for me was Le'Veon.
The thing was, the Doug Martin thing for him also counteracted that a little bit. I can't really counteract Le'Veon Bell going down. But
yeah,
it did. And then not only that, but it's not even like this guy had a terrible year, but I just remember the conversations revolving around Jeremy Hill going into last season.
Oh, yeah.
And like a lot of people thought he was going to be like a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
So he got my worst performance. He still put up a $1.55, which is not bad by any means, but that was still for him and what his expectations were was not very good. So, he underperformed based on what we all thought going into the season.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people thought he would be elite. He'd be a top 3 guy, but he just struggled a couple times during the year, and still finished decent, but did okay. And for the Belgium Red Devils, I think we both, listening back to our past podcast from last year, we both picked him to be potentially the division winner between his team and my team.
Yeah.
And
I don't ever doubt Drew in this league, even though he probably is the least active as far as roster moves.
Yeah, he never really makes any trades. But yeah, he always finishes in the top. I think he's made the playoffs every single year that we've existed. But we both. I think
him and the Swamp Rats might be the only 2 teams that have done that.
Yeah, that's pretty solid, and he's always pretty far. I don't know if he's never won. I don't know if he's never not won the division.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Just
on the year we had division, yeah.
Yeah, just a powerhouse fantasy football team.
Yeah.
And all right, well, let's jump to the San Joaquin Dropouts, who finished 8-4 on the season, second in the division, and they were also beat handedly by Mexico City in the wild card, the AFC wild card. And we both predicted San Joaquin to finish last in the division.
Man, we were wrong.
We were way wrong. Yeah.
I think this is the first team we've been way wrong about out of the 6 so far.
Yeah, I think so. From the 2 divisions we've done, that we were super wrong. Yeah, because he made the playoffs, 8-4, strong team, and I guess we -1 for Jordan Bain and Fuego.
Yeah, notch that one up in the loss column.
And let's see, his top 3 players last year, he had Phillip Rivers, Ryan Tannehill, and Jarvis Landry. And, since he had 2 quarterbacks that were top, his 4th player would be Danny Woodhead, was his 4th highest scoring player.
Good for Woodhead.
Yeah, man, Woodhead, just sneaky, always doing his thing. And I'll start with the biggest surprise on that team for me. For me, it was James Jones. I had no idea, number one, that he was still playing, and he actually had a good stretch at the beginning of the season where he did score a ton of points. Kind of had a little gap where he didn't, and then he finished okay at the end. But yeah, that was the biggest surprise because I had no idea until doing research that he was still playing.
Yeah, I did not pick James Jones, but now you mentioned that, he did fall off at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good overachieving one for sure. It's probably better than mine. My overachieving one was Mark Ingram.
Okay.
And even though he put up 153, but he did that in 12 games, so he didn't have him for the playoffs, which probably hurt his team a lot. But when Ingram was playing the first 2/3 of the season, he was one of the top 5 running backs, I want to say.
Yeah, no, he was doing really well. He was kind of in that same boat with James Jones. Like, started off really hot, and then just kind of injuries or I think with James Jones, it was the receivers got healthy that were hurt, and so then he wasn't playing as much and didn't score as much. But
yeah, I mean, Mark Ingram was, I mean, he had over 1,100. He had 1,174 total yards from scrimmage, and he had 6 TDs in 11 games. That was pretty dominant.
Yeah.
While he was playing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And how about worst performance on that team for you?
Antonio Gates, just because I think I should have just said San Diego tight ends because he had Antonio Gates and Ladarius Green, and neither one of them got to 100 points.
Yeah, Antonio Gates, isn't he like 40?
Yeah, but I didn't expect him to throw up only 93. I mean, he was not relevant. He only scored a touchdown in 2 games, and not only that, but he had 2 touchdowns in both those games. So he really had 2 good games, and then the rest of them sucked the rest of the season.
My worst performance was actually Deshaun Jackson, where I know he had that stretch where he was hurt for a couple games and didn't play. But even when he came back, I think he'd have a good game and then he'd throw up a stinker. Good game, throw up a stinker, which surprises me because Kirk Cousins was doing great. Like he had a good year, and so Deshaun Jackson just kind of didn't. I think he scored 74.8 points, so he was number 340 overall for the season.
Yeah. He was disappointing as well.
Yeah.
And hurt.
Yeah, which is not good, but we'll see. I'm curious to see how he'll do if he can stay healthy, and if Kirk Cousins continues to play well.
Yeah, I think obviously Jackson will have a bounce back year, but I don't know how bounce back. He's such a speed kills you kind of guy. Like once he starts getting up there,
yeah.
Like I mean, that's really gonna affect him as a football player and a fantasy prospect.
And
he can't afford to lose a step, and he's entering his 8th or 9th season or something like that.
Yeah, because he's kind of leaned on his speed for sure. Like when it comes to his fantasy points and being that deep threat. And up next, you better watch your mouth with this team because this is my team, Mexico City El Tri, who finished a lackluster 6-6, 3rd in the division, and suffered a heartbreaking loss in the championship, but still finished with the top points, the top point getter during the season.
Yeah, it's crazy that your team really caught a little bit of fire there down the stretch, like from week 14 on. But he had a stinker kind of in the championship game. But he threw up 280 points almost in 14 and 15. So, and then your team did well the whole season. You just got roughed up by your schedule.
Yeah, I think I must have played teams that had their best week against me to finish 6-6. And then with my team, we both predicted last year that it would be between Belgium Red Devils and my team for the division. And so I guess we were kind of off there because I really didn't win it.
To be fair, you can't. The scheduling thing's hard to predict, and your team was one of the top teams. I think you had outscored Drew all the way through it. So
yeah,
I'm not willing to chuck that one up in the loss column. Your team still finished second, in the league. So
yeah, still did pretty good.
We're notching that in the 5 section, if anything.
And as far as my team, top players was Eli Manning, Odell Beckham, and Todd Gurley. So those were the 3. Eli Manning, man, good old faithful Eli Manning.
Fuck Eli.
How could you hate on Eli? He was my top guy, and he just.
I know. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, and then I think this year he got drafted super late again by somebody.
No, he got drafted in the 2nd round. Remember that was our worst pick of the 2nd round?
Was that Reno?
Yeah.
Of course.
It was your worst pick, but my worst pick was Buck Allen.
Of course, like our worst owner with a piece of shit team would pick Eli Manning in the 2nd round. But I get it, man. I get it. Eli, he's just good old faithful. He can't
probably the best receiver in the league, other than Antonio Brown.
Very true. And I'll go ahead and start with the biggest surprise for my team. I think it was Gary Barnidge, who I think I picked up kind of at the beginning. And interesting because I don't think I ever really played him because I had Greg Olsen as well, but he was top 3 tight end, and that was a pretty big surprise when it came.
Yeah, Gary Barnidge is the biggest surprise of last year, in my opinion. I mean, who the hell had Gary Barnidge anywhere near their radar?
No,
I don't think anyone did. But Barnidge, I would agree with you on that.
Is that who you had as well?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I overlooked him, but as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, duh, of course.
Yeah.
I had Odell Beckham just because I saw Odell Beckham, I was like, well, duh, that's who it is, and I stopped looking down your list. But had I kept going, I would have seen Gary Barnidge and then probably picked him.
He was a big surprise, and I was surprised nobody wanted to ever take him in a trade as he continued his rampage at tight end.
Yeah, I think nobody believed in him. Yeah. I never believed in him.
I don't think I did either, and I just kept him, and he just kept doing his thing.
I'll tell you this though, with tight ends, bad teams, good stats is like more true than any other position.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how about worst performance? Who do you think was the worst on my team?
Well, Andrew Luck, because even when he was playing, he was doing terrible.
Yeah, he was.
So Andrew Luck was kind of a no-brainer for me on your team.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Pretty good.
I agree. He didn't even when he wasn't playing, or when he was playing, he was stinking it up big time.
The Terrence Williams drop-off was kind of surprising too.
Yeah, it makes sense with Romo being hurt and gone that he wouldn't do too well.
Yeah, Terrence Williams sneaky good this year, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Maybe Boston's got something there. Fonzo might have something with Terrence Williams.
We'll see. Maybe Fonz comes out a genius for snagging Williams. And Foster was close on my worst performance because he each game he improved, and on his last game before he got hurt, he had 20-something points, and then he got hurt again, and that was...
Yeah. I have a hard time putting disappointments due to injury, especially if they perform well when they're playing, because at least when they're injured, they're not in your lineup.
Yeah.
They're not killing you that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When it's a guy that you end up having to start every week and he sucks, that's pretty damaging too.
And up next we have the Kettleman City Chaos, formerly Kettleman City Chaos, who finished 4-8, and they finished so bad that the owner sold the team and relocated to Reno. So.
Yeah, that was it for him.
Yeah.
I think what I noticed with his team too that I didn't take note of before.
Yeah.
Of all the teams in our league last year, he had the third. He ended up having the third most points scored against them.
No way.
And he still finished 4-8. So it's not like his team was that bad, but teams averaged over 116 points against them last year.
Okay.
And in case you're wondering, the Gnomes were second worst with 118 points scored against them.
Okay. Who was number one?
And then Alfonso actually had it the roughest last year. He had 119.8 points scored against him on average last season.
Wow.
So that was tough luck for Fawn to still finish 4-8.
And we both picked Kettleman to be third in the division, so that's where we kind of flipped because dropouts finished. We picked them to be last; they finished second, and then Kettleman we picked to finish third in the division last year.
I think for this division last year, I was convinced that this one was a pretty big crapshoot. Not as big of a crapshoot as the AFC West that we did the last time. Actually, I think 1 through 4, this was the division that I thought everyone could be 5-7 or 7-5.
Just beat up on each other.
Which is kind of true. I mean, none of the teams were terrible.
Yeah.
We got 3 as the highest and 4-8. Man, Kettleman went 0-6 in the division. That's tough.
Yeah, they struggled. And Kettleman, his top 3 players were Drew Brees, Lamar Miller, and Brandon Cooks. And so a good 3 combo there. Yeah, even with those 3 players, still, didn't do too well.
Yeah, for him, his best performer was Lamar Miller.
Okay.
For me, even though we all thought he'd probably be pretty good, he started off so crappy, and then he just turned on the juice. It was good, like, the last 2/3 of the season. And almost got to 200 points. He got the 185, so all year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also put Lamar Miller, and also because it was back-to-back years, because I think the year before he had 160, 170, and then this year he kind of repeated that and had two years in a row in the Miami backfield. Yeah, he did well. He was number 6 running back overall, which is pretty good if you have a top 10 guy. That's solid for your team. Worst performer for me was definitely Julius Thomas. He was god awful on the Jaguars. I don't even is he still on the Jaguars?
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
For me, I did definitely consider Julius Thomas, but didn't end up picking him because I thought he had another running back that just took completely shit the bed.
Yeah.
That I would have never guessed, which was Andre Williams. I thought Andre Williams with Rashad Jennings with the Giants, I thought he would be relevant, and he was completely irrelevant. He only had 34 points.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think a few people were pretty high on Andre.
I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy high, but I didn't expect that. I didn't expect, 257 yards on 88 carries and 1 touchdown. And he wasn't hurt. I mean, that's literally, he was just not good. He scored 1 touchdown in week 3. I mean, he was, after that, he never really got more than 7 rushes, and he just wasn't used at all. And he just wasn't productive when he was used, so that sucked.
Yeah, no, I guess, you would say that he shit the bed, which I'm wondering, like, do you know anybody that has ever shit their bed?
In their bed?
Yeah, like shit the bed, literally.
Probably Darren.
No, you know who? Probably the Reno Wild Orchid guy. I don't even know his name. Brian.
Hey, take it easy on Brian, man. Brian's a great guy. I know you're just having fun with it. I don't want him to get confused, though. Plus, Brian could probably beat all of our asses.
Like fighting? Like fighting? Like physically fighting?
Yeah, physically fighting, I think he would kill us all.
Even Drew?
Yeah. Sorry, Drew. I know you have military training, but...
That's what I'm saying. Military training. And John, man. John's pretty scrappy. He's got that length. He's got that kind of...
That's true. He has that O-line strength.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, John and Brian could definitely beat the other 14 of us up.
You know what we need to do? We need to have a bracket of who would win in a physical fight. Like...
physical altercation.
Like, we'll seed everybody 1 to 16, and then we'll just do a bracket and see what happens.
We'll do that off to the side. We'll rank everyone, and then that's how we'll end every show from here on, every podcast from here on out. We'll start with the first round, and then work our way down from there.
All right, deal on that. And
I've been talking to the seating, though, since I actually know everyone.
Yeah, I think you could do that for sure.
Okay. All right, let's incorporate that.
Yeah, let's do it. And yeah,
this is a great idea the more I think about it.
Yeah, we can come up with stuff like this for sure. But yeah, we'll wrap it up. Just Kettleman. I think Andre Williams on point. Julius Thomas. I also thought Sanu was a worse performer because I think a lot of people thought he was going to be the number 2 guy in Cincinnati, and then he just. As soon as Marvin Jones got healthy, he was nobody. So
yeah, he was irrelevant too. All in all, I think we were a little discombobulated on this one with our predictions, but ultimately the 2 teams we thought would make it the furthest did, and still represent that division represents the 2nd and 3rd place overall team.
No, and I think when we predicted the teams last year, this was the division that was the hardest, where we couldn't. The previous divisions, it was pretty easy to be like, all right, this team is finishing last for sure. This team is going to do this. And as we're this division, from listening back to the podcast, we kind of struggled with like, it's kind of a crapshoot of who's going to do do well. So
Yeah.
with that, I think we did okay with our predictions. So
All right, sweet.
all right,
Well, I
man.
got nothing else.
Yeah, that's it.